Welcome everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining our webinar today on Volta Insurance Solutions and Appulate. I will be your presenter today, Vanessa Duliere Camara, the Director of Customer Development here at Appulate, and I'm joined by Adam Meyerson, the President of Volta Insurance Solutions, and we're happy to have you on the call. Some webinar logistics before we get started. All attendees are now muted, so we don't hear you. However, we would like to hear from you, so stick around until the end. We'll have a live Q&A session. In the meanwhile, so that you don't forget your questions, you can type them in as you have them in the GoToMeeting side panel in the question section, and I'll make sure to read those out loud at the end of the meeting when we do our Q&A session. This webinar is being recorded. So before we take a deep dive into Volta's outstanding programs powered by Appulate, I'd like to just take a few moments to update you on Appulate. Appulate network continues to grow rapidly. We're now at over 30,000 agencies in network, making Appulate the place where agents, MGAs, and carriers do business digitally. Our commitment to you, the agent, is to empower you by expanding your markets and automating your workflow, saving you time and money. A little more on expanding your markets. For over a decade, agents have been using Appulate to streamline their submission process, and often agents would come to us looking for markets to place a part of their business that they couldn't place with their current markets. And it was then that we realized that there was more that we could be doing for our agents. So we decided to be a technology partner to program administrators looking to automate their quoting process and deliver it to a large network of agents. And now Appulate hosts a real-time rate quote request to bind experience for several markets, including Volta, meaning that you can get a quote in just minutes. So how exactly do we automate the submission process? Well, it all starts with Uplink, which eliminates the need to rekey data. It bridges existing Accord data from any agency management system or Accord PDF and populates other forms, carrier portals, and program administrators' smart questionnaire, which lives in Appulate. It also eliminates the need for your markets to rekey information, making it a win-win for all parties involved. Now, Appulate is brought to you, the agent, at zero cost, as the carriers, MGAs, and program administrators cover the cost so that you can do more business with them in an easier way. Now, not only is it free to use, but it can save you money as well. We did a recent survey here for retail agents, and we found that agents are averaging about 40 submissions per month. And with Appulate, agents are saving about 37 minutes per submission. Now, this translates to an average of close to 1,500 minutes or over 24 hours saved per month with Appulate. And that can be translated into real dollars as well. So that's $593 per agent per month, or over $7,000 per agency per year. Now, without further ado, I'd like to announce our partnership with Volta Insurance Solutions, which currently has its rate quote request to bind platform in Appulate. It is free to use, and it can produce an instant quote for you. This is the fastest way to get an excess liability quote, and in just a few minutes, we'll take you through a demo. But first, I'd like to hand this over to Adam so that he can tell you a bit more about Volta. Adam?
Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to join us on this webinar. My name is Adam Meyerson. I am the president of Volta Insurance Solutions. To start off, I wanted to kind of give you what our mission here is at Volta. At Volta Insurance Solutions, we are a wholesale commercial insurance brokerage and automated policy issuance platform. Utilizing proprietary technology, meaning Appulate, of course, Volta enables its retail insurance producers to rate, quote, bind, and issue small commercial insurance policies all in real time. With a key emphasis on technology, our automated rate-to-issue platform dramatically increases the efficiency of this process, as well as provides access to new and competitive insurance products to all of our appointed producers. Our specialties are going to include standard commercial lines such as excess liability, work comp, general liability, property, package, emerging lines, and as well as excess and surplus lines. Our plan, our plan is admitted carriers only, rated AM Best A or better, with competitive rates, obviously quality products, and a broad risk acceptance. Now, our first product is going to be excess liability. The carrier is Volta Insurance Company. Their AM Best rating is A-. They are currently in California as well as 26 other states. Our first product will only be in California to start off, but we will be expanding into other states as well. Some of the industry examples that we will be accepting for this line of business are retail, warehousing, real estate, habitational, manufacturing, processing, healthcare, institutions, rental, wholesale, and restaurants. Our coverages are $1 and $2 million limits, all at minimum premium, and our commission, I'm happy to say, is at 12%. Our next products are work comp, coming from Employers Insurance Company, that we're looking to release in the summer of 2018. Also in the summer of 2018, we plan to release general liability with Volta Insurance Company, a package policy with Volta Insurance Company in the fall, as well as business owners also with Volta Insurance Company. So what do we provide? Using Appulate, our front-end technology platform is comprised of automated data entry, real-time quoting, instant bind requests, and same-day turnaround for issued policies. The producer no longer needs to spend their resources in developing their own platforms for additional automation. Become appointed with Volta, and the automation is free. As I said before, our first line of business is excess liability through Volta Insurance Company, but we will be adding other lines of business, including work comp, general liability, property package, BOP, earthquake, emerging lines potentially like cannabis, and also specialty and niche product lines, all on Appulate's platform. And with respect to the carriers that, or the additional products that we will be bringing on board, as much as TOPA is going to be one of our more prevalent carriers, we're also going to be having other carriers as well. At Volta, we are automating most of the manual processes, which increases the efficiency and lowers overhead. This lower operating cost gives us flexibility to offer higher than average commission percentages per policy than other wholesalers, putting more commission and more money in your pocket. In a nutshell, Volta offers a simplified user interface using Appulate's state-of-the-art platform. There is no haggling over guidelines or how long it takes to get a quote because it's instantaneous. If you get a quote, that's the rate, and it can be bound. You have same-day turnaround on all bound policies and more commission. Not only do we provide access to competitive insurance products, our technology platform provides automated front-end underwriting, instantaneous quoting capability, and bind requests all at the click of a mouse. No underwriters to call, to talk to, or email, or to wait for. We remove the roadblocks and unnecessary points of contact for a seamless, streamlined approach. Smart, efficient, and automated. So I think we're going to turn it back now over to Vanessa, who's going to give us a demonstration of the platform and show us how this all works.
That's right. Thanks, Adam. I'm going to go ahead and do exactly that. I'm going to show you a demonstration of how easy it is to use Appulate to submit and get an instant quote for excess liability with Volta. So I have here on my screen a completed ACORD form, and this ACORD form is filled out, ready to go. You may have this in your agency management system. If it's there, there's no need to, you could start from there. Appulate works with any agency management system. So you can print your ACORD form to the Appulate uplink printer option, or as we like to say, go ahead and Appulate it. So if you have it installed, it will show up here as one of your printer options. Now you could go ahead and print, and it'll ask you to confirm your Appulate credentials. So you'll just have to type this in once, and Appulate stores it here for you. Once you click send, it will open up Appulate for you automatically, create the insured, and create the line of business. So you do not have to have Appulate already open in the background. Just Appulate your ACORD form or print it to the Appulate uplink, and it will open it up, create the insured, as you can see here, Victory Electric, and create the line of business, excess liability. Now it's taken us into our Q&A section where we see Volta Insurance Solutions listed as the market that we're trying to submit to. And on the right of that is a letter indication that's going to help guide you through the submission process. It's letting you know what questions, if any, are missing and required in order to produce this instant quote. To the right of that is the submit button. It's currently grayed out or has an X over it. We're unable to click on it until we fulfill the requirements. So down below Volta, we have what we call our SMART questionnaire. This is where all of the Accord data has been bridged over to. So any existing information that you already have on your Accord form, you do not need to start from scratch and rekey it. It's being plugged right in for you. And now you just have to look for those additional questions that are missing and required that you'll have to plug in for a quote. And you can just look for those. They have a red asterisk next to them. Or as I mentioned earlier, click on the live links and it will take you right to them. So I'll start to plug in this information.
One of the things I wanted to bring your attention to is I've already been receiving phone calls about what type of business does Volta accept. Because this questionnaire is so simple, all you really need to do is upload that Accord form directly into Appulate, and as soon as you type in that class code, if that class code is something that we do not accept, it'll automatically give you a D at the very top where the orange A is. So if you're interested in what class codes we accept, all you got to do is type in the class code, and it will tell you whether or not it's acceptable. Also, another thing to bring your attention to is she just answered the first 6 questions here, and as a result, you have your premium at the very top. So provided nothing else in this policy changes and you qualify via the underwriting, that will be your premium and it will not change.
Thank you, Adam. So now we'll continue on. As you can see that there's additional questions in the underwriting section which we'll need to work through here.
Now, we've designed these underwriting questions as what we like to call knockdown questions. So it is either acceptable or it's not. And that's one of the things that we're doing with respect to efficiency. There's no need to call us to find out whether or not we will accept a particular risk. If you answer one of these questions and it comes up and at the very top you show a D, that means it is unacceptable and it is something that we will not bind.
That's right, and now we finished the submission, or we finished answering all of the missing and required questions. Instead of an orange A, we now have a green A for accepted, meaning we can go ahead and click on the submit button here under action. So I'll do that, and you'll be happy to see that in just a few minutes, we were able to produce an instant quote proposal that now appears here under Volta Insurance Solutions, and we can click and open that up to review. So it'll open it up in a PDF format, which you can download, print, or just simply scroll through on your screen here to review. Now, if everything looks good and you'd like to share it with your insured, you can do that directly in Appulate here by clicking on the email icon that appears in line with the quote. So if you click on this email button, it'll do a little pop-up here where it has the proposal attached. It has a signature that it put together at the bottom that you can make edits to, and just type in the insured's email address and send it right over to them. If you'd like to continue on with the request to bind, you will be able to do that as soon as you fulfill these additional questions that have popped up here. So Adam's going to expand a little bit more about these questions.
With respect to our underwriting, one of the things that we require is that any business has to have at least 5 years of history or have been in business for at least 5 years. So once you type in the date of business establishment, you'll be required to enter in the GL history for the last 5 years, as well as provide loss runs for the last 5 years as well. So right now this information is not input, but I know that Vanessa already has one ready to go so that she can show you what it looks like in order to be able to bind the policy. So once that information is in there, you will be able to submit.
Yeah, that's correct. So what I did is I went ahead and prepared this already on my screen with an insured here so that you don't have to watch me as I type all of this information in. So this one, I already went ahead and answered the questions that were missing and required in order to request to bind, and I now have a request to bind button that I can click on. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And if you are an agency that has not yet gone through the appointment process, it will first ask you to get appointed. So don't worry about getting appointed. Go ahead and submit, get your instant quote, and then if you would like to continue on and request to bind, it'll prompt you through the automated appointment process, which is really slick, and you'll get to see here in just a moment. If you are already appointed with Volta, it's smart enough to bypass this step altogether and just take you through the request to bind steps. So let's talk a little bit about the appointment process here. When you click on Get Appointed, it's going to take you to a screen where you can see that your status is not appointed yet, and it lists all of the things that you need to do in order to get appointed with Volta, starting with signing the agreement, which is done using electronic signature, all built into Appulate. I already went through that process, so you don't have to sit here and watch me do electronic signatures. Most of you are already very familiar with that. And then I've uploaded the additional documents that Volta needs in order for me to request an appointment. Now, before I click on the request appointment button here, Adam's going to elaborate a little bit more on what is needed for this item number 5.
So with respect to the trust account form, all transactions that we do here at Volta are done via your trust account. This avoids us having to send out paper mail, mail checks, send out invoices, and so on. So everything is done with the trust account. So all you need to do is copy and paste this link into your web browser, download the form, fill it out, and then attach it here, and then we'll be able to approve your appointment.
Great. Thanks, Adam. So again, to save time for this demo, I went ahead and already attached the documents that were needed. You can do that by dragging and dropping the files or clicking on select to browse your computer. And once you've fulfilled all of the appointment requirements here, you can click on request appointment, and you'll see that your status changes to say pending request. And at this time, Adam and his team are alerted to that. They can log in there, they can see everything that you've signed and uploaded and review. And assuming that everything is in there, they will go ahead and appoint you. And once you are appointed, you will receive email notification. That email will contain a link that will take you right back to the insured file so that you can then continue on with your request to bind. So if you're already in Appulate, you can also navigate back to that insured by going to Insured, All Insured. And you can type in the customer that you were looking for. We were looking for a Gold Meadow. That's the one that we were working on. And we can go back into Excess Liability. And now once we're appointed, we can click on the Request to Bind button to continue on with the bind steps. Now, we won't go into the bind steps. They're pretty self-explanatory, just a couple of signatures on some items, and you can move on with Request to Bind. So if you have any questions on the request to bind, on the appointment process, on how to answer any of these questions, in just a moment, I'll pull up some contact information for Adam, and you can always reach out to him. He knows exactly how to help you through the quote and the binding process and everything that is needed. So feel free to reach out if you do have any questions or would like him to walk you through that. Now, before I do that, I do want to show you how you can start from Appulate if you do not have an Accord form already filled out and ready to go. So if you prefer to start in Appulate, I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll talk about setup. So Insured, All Insured is the very first page that you get logged into in Appulate. And here at the top, you have Add New Customer or Prospect. And you can go ahead and type in the insured's name here and all of the required information or all of the information that it's asking you for about the insured on this page, and click Continue. On the next page here, it's going to ask you to choose the line of business. Of course, for today, we're working on excess liability, and choose the effective and expiration date and click Continue. So it's just those two first screens that you have to get through, and then the process is the same from here. It takes you into the Q&A section where you see the questions that are missing and required that you'll have to plug in here in order to submit and get your instant quote. Now, again, this is if you don't already have an Accord form put together. You want to start directly in Appulate. You'll just answer the questions in the SMART questionnaire. Now, as an added bonus, by plugging all of the Accord data or all of the questions in the SMART questionnaire, it's producing an Accord form for you in the background. So at any point in time, you can jump over to the form section and you can click on the Accord 131 and open it up, and you can see how all of the information that you plugged in to the SMART questionnaire has populated the Accord form, which you can extract from Appulate if you'd like. All right, so now that you've seen how easy it is to use Appulate to get an instant quote for Volta's excess liability line, I'd like to go over setup so that you can start using Appulate to submit to Volta today. I want to direct you first to voltainsurance.com. So if you go to voltainsurance.com, if you go to their website, you'll see that it has producer login. So if you click on producer login, it's going to take you directly to where you can log into Appulate. Everyone that was invited to this webinar already has Appulate credentials. If you don't know what the password is, click on Forgot Password. It'll ask you for your email and allow you to reset your password so that you can log in. Now, for those of you that are already using Appulate and now you would like to use Appulate for Volta, I want to stress that you do not need a separate account. Each agency has just one Appulate account. And from that one Appulate account, you can access all of your markets, including Volta. So you do not need to create a separate account. All you need to do is make sure that you are using the appulate.com URL and not the volta.appulate.com or any of our other company-specific URLs. You want to be using appulate.com as the URL. And that makes sure that you can see Volta and all of your markets that you've chosen to work with in Appulate. Okay, they should all be listed under Markets and Selected. If you don't see them there, you can go to Markets and Available and type in Volta or whatever market it is that you're looking to add and click the plus sign under Select to add it. Now, you'll want to make sure that you download Uplink if you would like to start bridging over a core data and you don't already have it installed. That's under Tools and Appulate Uplink. You'll choose your management system from the drop-down menu. Again, Appulate works with any agency management system. So if you don't see it listed here, you can simply choose the other option and then click on the download link to install. It'll install on your desktop in less than a minute. And if you need further instructions, you can download those here. Lastly, if you'd like to add other users, you can go to Setup and Users if you are an account admin to add more users to your account, deactivate users, or edit any user information. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my slides here and I'm going to leave Adam's contact information open on my screen as we start to take any questions. So please note this, again, if you have any questions on the binding, on the appointment process, or how to uplink your Accord form or fulfill the requirements to submit, any questions at all regarding Volta or Appulate, feel free to reach out to Adam Meyerson. His contact information is on my screen here. And let's go ahead and see if we have any questions. We have a hand raised. So David, I will go ahead and unmute you. Please feel free to ask your question out loud to the group.
What are the renewal commissions on these products?
So Adam, the question is for you on renewal commissions.
They're 12%. It's 12 and 12.
And who means the proprietor of the data submitted?
Who, are you asking who owns the data?
Yeah, do we mean as individual brokers, do we still maintain that data?
Absolutely.
As being ours?
It is those, your insureds are your customers. My customer would be you. So your insureds are by all means your customers, and that is your information.
And if the question is regarding Appulate and the information that's stored in there, it's your data. We do not do anything with your data.
Any other questions?
Thank you for the question, David. Any other questions? Feel free to raise your hand. You can ask your question out loud. We can unmute you, or you can type in your question in the GoToMeeting side panel. There is a question here about when this is live. It is live currently, so you can start a submission today. And if you have any questions, you can, again, reach out to Adam.
Yeah, if you have any questions regarding how to get appointed, where you need to upload information, how to submit a quote, how to submit a bind request, I am more than happy to walk any of you through any bit of this process. We're just excited to be able to have you guys on the phone. We're glad that you're showing some interest. So anything that we need to do to help you out with this this process, be more than happy to do so. All you got to do is give us a call. Or send us an email, of course.
Okay, no other questions at the moment. We'll do a last call for any questions. Last call. Okay, great. Well, on behalf of the entire Appulate team, I'd like to thank you for joining today. I hope that you found this helpful and informative, and that you will start using Appulate to submit to Volta today. Adam?
Thank you very much, everybody. We're glad to have you on board, and we're looking forward to seeing to giving out some new appointments.
Thank you. Bye now.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.